Hi, and welcome back to more alpha gameplay for Battle Champion. Today I'm going to be going over some of the progression systems in the game and showing some gameplay of Stage 2 monsters. I'm not going to be talking as much about the battle system this time, so check out the first video if you want to know more about how battles work. So to strengthen our monsters, we're first going to have to visit the stable. We can see the list of monsters we own here, and for this demonstration I'm going to use a new monster, Freecy, which I created since last time. Here we can see a list of Freecy's stats, and we can feed Freecy candies in order to increase them. We can see here both a list of the base stats and also the amount of candies that Freecy has eaten of each type. So we've eaten 10 strength candies, 5 toughness candies, and 5 speed candies. So I'm going to feed 5 more toughness candies. I now get a message about how Freecy is full and needs to get some exercise, which basically means we need to do a battle before we can feed any more candies at this time. So let's go take Freecy into a battle. Something I didn't mention last time is that when monsters attack, you get a bit of a visual indicator about how effective their attacks are. Well, I'm going to miss in this case, but you can see that Freecy moved forward to perform that tail slash attack, which is an indicator that tail slash is a close range attack. And you'll see here when I'm hit by this airstrike, it pushes me back a little bit, which means that that attack was moderately effective. You'll notice that Swoop was pushed quite far back by my attack, which tells you that it was very effective. So I'm guessing Swoop is going to try to go into the air again, so I'm going to use Shear to power myself up. And then I'll just hit him right when he comes back down. What Shear does, this sort of Freecy's special power, it increases the critical hit chance, and you can see right there I got the critical hit on Swoop. And it also affects the properties of some of Freecy's moves, although I don't have the move that is affected by it. Right now, you'll notice I only had 2 moves on my Freecy, so we might want to go and get another move, and we do that by sending Freecy on an expedition. So we can come here, we can select Freecy, and here are some places that we could send Freecy out for some special training. If there's a light bulb available, that means that Freecy could learn a move by going on training to that location. So I'm going to send Freecy to the Glowing Ruins, try to pick up an attack-based move. So normally you would have to wait about 6 hours in real time for Freecy to come back, but since I'm playing in the debug mode, it will actually just return immediately. And so we've learned a new attack called Rush. You can also sometimes find some like goodies like candies or other things from these expeditions, but this time I just learned the move. So now we can go and see that Freecy now has this additional attack, which is Rush, and I can reorder my moves from the screen too. So we now have additional coverage because Rush is a strike-based attack, so if we end up fighting someone who is weak to strike attacks, we could do that now. And I'm actually going to feed Freecy as well before we do one more battle. So I'll get 5 points of intelligence. Oh, so Freecy actually now has eaten enough that it can evolve. So I could take Freecy to the Monstromorphosis screen, and we can evolve our Freecy. So here we can see we have the choice to become either Alkraka or Flamma. So this is one of the unique things about Battle Champion, is that every monster can actually evolve into one of 2 monsters, although it depends on what sort of candies you fed them in their previous stage. You can see here, if you fed more strength and toughness candies, then you would become Alkraka, and if you had fed more speed and intelligence candies, you would become Flamma. So in this case, because we fed more of strength and toughness, we're going to become Alkraka. So we have now evolved, and we learned a new move, which is Icicle Blade. So we can now take a look at Freecy's new move set. And let's move Icicle Blade to our top slot. And we can now test out Alkraka's power. If you learn more moves than you can actually equip at one time, you don't lose any of the old moves, you just can't have them all equipped at once. So here we are up against Hardzer with medium armor, so we're probably not actually going to be seeing Icicle Blade in this battle, because we're going to want to use Rush instead. But it's a good thing we picked up that move, because he'd be pretty resistant to Icicle Blade. But since we... oh wait, I'm mistaken, he has heavy armor, so we're actually going to be using Icicle Blade instead. Because heavy armor is resistant to strike attacks. That's still not great damage. I don't think we're going to come out of this one on top. This is where the benefit of learning more attacks would be useful. If we had a magic-based attack, I'd be in slightly better shape to deal with him. And we got a critical out of Icicle Blade, but I still don't think this is happening. He's just going to punch me to death here. And we've been defeated, but that's okay, because we can still feed even if we lose the battle. So we could go give Alcraca a few more candies as a consolation prize. Maybe a bit more toughness and strength. But Alcraca probably needs a little bit more seasoning before it's ready for too many more battles. I wanted to show off a little bit more of the gameplay of the Stage 2 monsters, so I think I'm going to attempt the weekend tournament again this time. You'll notice that there are different daily battles for each of the stages of monsters. So if you have a particular monster that you like in one of its forms, you don't necessarily have to evolve it. You could keep it around to deal with the sort of the lower level tournaments, which still continue to yield good rewards. But for now, we're going to take a look at the Stage 2 tournament. So I've evolved all of our monsters from last time. Here we have Wisp, which was the evolution of Soul. We have Friller, the evolution of Gecko. We have Hawk, the evolution of Feather. We have Droplet's evolution of Puddle, and Torch, which is the evolution of Cold Tea. So I've powered these guys up quite a lot, so we're going to see how they do in this tournament battle. So for the first round, you can see we're now facing Stage 2 monsters, of course. The opponent has two monsters with light armor, and 3 monsters with medium armor. So for this one, I think we're going to want to start off with perhaps Droplet would be a good, or Puddle would be a good start here, because in addition to having attacks that are good against medium armor, he is also resistant to fire attacks, and the opponent has 2 fire monsters. I think I'll also bring along Hawk, and perhaps we'll round it out with Wisp. So our first battle here is against Little Wing. He has medium armor, so this is not a bad result. We'll just go with Big Ball. Oh, so he immediately switched out. He wasn't enjoying that matchup. Let's see what he's got with Snakey here. Oh, he's got Tail Slash. Okay, so that's going to hurt. So I think we're going to bring someone else in here. I'm going to bring in Wisp. So, as we saw before, Wisp is someone, or Soul and Wisp are both monsters who have spectral armor, so that they don't take very much damage from attacks like Tail Slash. And whereas my magic attacks are still fairly effective against Snakey here. Yeah, and I don't fear his fire-based magic attacks either, because as a fire type myself, even though I am slightly weak against magic, I don't really take that much damage from them. So I'm in a pretty good position here. My own Lava Wave attack would not do terribly much against Snakey, but that's alright. We could just save that for whoever comes out next. I haven't been having very good luck with accuracy here, but I'm just not hitting anything. Yeah, we could definitely still lose this if I can't get some hits soon. Okay, one more hit should take him out. I'm actually just going to go with Lava Wave. Even though this attack is not going to be too powerful, it is at least perfectly accurate. Lava Wave is in fact even a move that cannot miss, so even in situations where your accuracy was decreased, it would still always hit. Although, like Soul Blast, Lava Wave is another attack that cannot be used every turn. But since I have 2 attacks that have that property, I can alternate between them, which is a good strategy against anyone who isn't resistant to them. This match ended up being a lot more even than I expected it was going to be. but Soul Blast will do that. You could always have sort of tried to bring along another monster who could increase Wisp's accuracy, which would make Soul Blast hit more often. But I don't really have anyone with that ability right now. So we're now up against Flied Kick. Flied Kick is an air element, so he is actually weak to Lava Wave. So if I can get a second turn, I could use that against him. And it looks like I'm probably going to. So this might actually take him out here. Yeah, Lava Wave is pretty strong when it hits someone who's weak to it. So now we just got Little Wing back. He's probably going to take me out, but I guess I can try to hypnotize him. No, he's faster, and I'm just super dead to that. So we'll bring Puddle back in to finish him off. That was a counter move he attempted to use against me, but it didn't work because that's a long-range attack. Crosswind is a pretty strong spell. It hits twice, which is why you see 2 damage numbers there. But I'm not particularly weak against it. And we've now slowed him down because he is now sticky after we hit him with 3 big balls. So I'm just going to finish him off with Slime Spike. And so we've won our first battle. For the second battle, it looks like the opponent has 3 monsters who have light armor, 1 monster with medium armor, and 1 monster with heavy armor. So I think I'm going to lead this one off with Hawk, who can deal pretty well with 4 of those 5 monsters. We just really are hoping we don't see Snaily up first. Then perhaps I'll also bring Torch, who could deal with the Snaily if we do have to fight it. And then maybe we'll round it out with Friller. Okay, so we're up against Aigoo, so we're okay in terms of our start here. I'm going to start out with Charge Slash. Tackle would actually do reasonable damage to me if it hit. So I'm going to show off another one of our unique moves here, which is sort of Hawk's special move here, which is Tornado. This is a weather effect. You'll notice the background in the arena has now changed. Oh, so he immediately switched out. So what weather effects do is they provide both a positive benefit to anyone who shares the same element as them, and also a negative effect to anyone who has a different element. In this case, Tornado, being the air weather effect, provides sort of a speed bonus to any air-type monsters, while doing a bit of damage to any non-air type monsters. And that's why he immediately switched into a fellow air type, so that not only does he not take the damage from it, but he also now gets the speed up. So it's not really helping me at this point. But this matchup is still not bad, so I'm not too worried here. Unfortunately, he is sort of going to stall out the rest of my Tornado, so I won't really be able to take advantage of it too much. Tornado has now ended. So he was actually able to do pretty good damage to me with Berloon here. So that was a pretty good switch by the AI. We'll see who comes out next. Okay, he's bringing Aigoo back. That's actually why I used Flying Kick to finish off Berloon, so I could keep my Charge Slash for Aigoo. I could probably try to Wing Shield this time. Oh, he's actually going to switch. Okay then, well we'll just kick Sploof. And we got a critical. We'll just continue kicking. Oh, I missed this time. Okay, I'm getting a bit low on health here, but we've got a pretty good lead built up. And another critical. Okay, he hit the damage range, so I'm dead. We'll send out Fiddler. Fiddler's new move here is this Poison Spit attack, which is a magic-based attack that can also poison the opponent. Oh, I forgot that he has Chomp, so that's going to do a fair bit of damage to me. But we'll see if we can poison him. Okay, we got the poison. So now we should just be able to finish him off with an Earth Spike. No, he actually went for a slower move, but it doesn't matter. So I was kind of counting on the poison to damage him and then the Earth Spike to finish him off. But we just ended up killing him with Earth Spike. And we'll go with Double Slash against Aigu. That shouldn't do too much. Nope. That's about a 3 hit to finish him off. Friller is a bit more skilled with magic-based attacks than strength-based attacks. But I've almost won this here. Oh, he got the interrupt. But I'm still going to attack before he does. Okay. So that's another battle down. So what do we have this time? Okay, so here we have 3 monsters with light armor, 1 monster with medium armor, and 1 monster with heavy armor. So in this case, I'm thinking Puddle here is probably not a great choice, because I'm seeing a lot of... we've got both ice and electric here, which would be strong against Puddle, so I'm probably going to leave him on the bench. We also have an earth type here. So we don't really have too many elements we can take advantage of on this one. I think I'm going to start with Torsh, who is a pretty good choice as long as we don't come up against the bubble first. Then I'll bring Hawk in case we face bubble. And then who would be a good third choice? Maybe we'll go with Wisp. Okay, so we got a pretty good start here. We're up against the Zeet. He is a heavy armor. So we're gonna try to set up a little bit. We'll see how much damage he could do to me. If he hits me really hard, I'm not going to set up too long. I'll just try to take him out. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I can heal that off. Now that we have 4 move slots, we can carry 2 stances and also have 2 attacks. So Torsh has become quite a bit more dangerous. This strategy of powering ourselves up by quickly alternating between the stances is now quite powerful, as we have decent coverage despite having to dedicate 2 moves to this power-up strategy. He is slowly chipping away at my health, so I'm probably going to start attacking after this one. Oh, and that was even a critical. One thing I haven't talked about too much is that there are sort of a number of monsters have the ability to stall in various ways, such as by alternating between these stances. But the longer a monster remains in battle, the more damage it starts to take from attacks. So if I was to just try to stall indefinitely, eventually I would start to get hit very, very hard, at which point it would start to become impossible to out-heal the damage. So, Zeet had the Endure status, so he got to survive that attack on 1 HP. So I still took a fair amount of damage, even though that was sort of a favorable matchup. But none of my other monsters would have dealt with that Zeet too well, so I'm glad to have him out of the way. Next up, we've got Snowy, which is interesting. If I had any fire-based attacks, I'd be able to do pretty good damage here, but I don't. So I'm just going to have to stick with Head Bash, which is a decently powerful strike attack. I could increase its power further by going into Trot mode, although at the risk of hurting myself. But I'm pretty low on health anyway. so we might as well just take the extra damage. This should hit pretty hard. Torch can really be quite dangerous once he gets rolling. We're able to completely take out Snowy as well, although I have only 1 hit point remaining. If we could get a head bash off on Incisor here, it would probably almost take him out as well. Oh wow, we actually crit him for all of his health. Just Torch steamrolling this entire team here. So I guess we're not going to get to see what Incisor can do, but that's alright. So here we have the final battle. We have 3 monsters who have heavy armor, which is interesting. And then 1 monster with medium armor and 1 monster with light armor. So this is once again looking like we're going to need Torch here, because he's the only one of my monsters who currently has a strike or a piercing attack. In addition to that, we've got a couple monsters who are going to be trying to do fire damage and some water damage. So I might bring along Puddle. He can sort of stall out against those monsters. And who do we want to complete this group? Maybe we'll just go with good old Dependable Hawk as the last member. So this isn't a bad start. We've got Puddle up against Snaily here. He has heavy armor, so my big ball isn't exactly going to do much damage, but nevertheless I would still like to get him stickied so that I could use Slime Spike, which does more damage when the opponent is sticky. I'm guessing he's probably going to try to hit me with Immolate here, but luckily I am resistant to it. Immolate is a fire-type magic ability that does more damage if the opponent has sticky status, but you'll notice I'm now no longer sticky. It actually also removes the sticky status when you use it against someone. So now that I've hit him with 3 big balls, he is also sticky, which would allow me to use Slime Spike against him. Oh, he switched out. That's one of the counters to the sticky strategy. If you switch out, it clears your status effects. So all of my hard work to make him sticky is now gone. Oh, and I really don't want to be taking arm rotors, so I think this is probably a good opportunity to get out. Let's have Hawk help us out a bit here. So we haven't seen too much of the Meko family yet. Their special power is this overclock status, which sort of increases the power of their attacks, albeit at the expense of them taking a little bit of damage at the end of each turn. He's going to be taking extra damage because I have Tornado up as well. So we're really sort of chipping away at him, even if my attacks don't do too much damage. In fact, a strategy here could be I could just use Wing Shield to defend against whatever attack he's going to do. And then just let the damage chip away at him. So that did nothing. He took more damage for that attack than I did. And it also sort of equalized the speed. You'll notice he was quite far ahead of me in the turn bar, but now I am ahead. So those reaction abilities can be quite useful to sort of neutralize the speed advantage in certain situations. So we've already almost taken him out, and we sort of barely did anything. I should just be able to finish this off the flying kick here. And we're looking pretty good. Who knows? Maybe we won't need Torch at all. So here's Snaily again. Now this matchup is very bad. Snaily's fire attacks would almost completely obliterate me, so I think I am going to bring Torch in here. So we're going to run the same strategy here, although being slowed down by Sticky does make it a little bit less effective. Torch doesn't take magic attacks too well, but thankfully he is resistant to fire. So we'll just get powered up here and see if we can run a train through its team. These battles sort of demonstrate the benefit of versatility in this game. Pretty much every monster can learn a decent variety of different types of attacks. We have Snaily here, who seems to only really be carrying like this fire-type attack, which just doesn't do too much damage against people who are resistant against it. But he's also capable of learning some physical attacks as well, which you could use to pad out your repertoire a bit. Now, of course, this means you would have to sort of make your stat spread a little bit more general. If you only invest in intelligence, your physical attacks aren't really going to do much damage, even if you are carrying a few of them. But there are benefits to being more versatile. I'm not exactly sure why he tried to power up there, but anyway, he's taken care of. And so who is his last? It's the bubble. Okay, that's pretty much the worst case scenario, but it's a good thing that we conserved our hawk over here, because we might need him. Like, that is really going to hurt. Splash is a powerful water type spell, which I am weak to. And the best thing I could do is use Head Bash, which he's not particularly weak against. But the fact that I raised my attack 3 times is causing it to do pretty good damage, at least when it doesn't miss. So I'm probably facing another splash here, and he actually powered up his intelligence, so this one is just really going to hurt. I'm dead. So, well, good try, Torsh. I think that, like, I could try to stall him out with Bubble, but then he's probably just going to power himself up more, which probably isn't good. So I'm just going to try to quickly take him out here. Oh no. Okay, that's very bad. So Bubble just used Vaporize, which gives him Spectral Armor. So now my Charge Slash, which would have done tons of damage, did not do that much damage at all. And then he condensed to get his health back. I'm not really liking the way this battle is going right now, but we'll see what happens next here. Is he going to Vaporize again? No, he's splashing me. We could still lose this. This is very much a losable battle at this point. I think he's doing Vaporize again, but luckily I got my slash off before he could do it. Yep. So what Vaporize does is it changes his armor type to be Spectral, which means my physical attacks don't do nearly as much damage. He could just stick in Spectral Armor mode for a couple turns, or he can use, oh boy. Well, I'm very hurt, but the next attack should almost certainly kill him. So I think we have this, although he did make... Oh, is his heal faster? It is faster. But he might die to this anyway. Oh, nope, he's alive. So we may need Puddle to clean this one up after all. Unless I can outspeed him here, I don't think I'm going to. Nope, so he managed to take out Hawk there. That's surprising. I think the AI played this last fight really well. If I wasn't so far in the lead, he actually might have taken this here. I think he's going to Vaporize again, but it's not going to matter. This attack is going to finish him off. So we got him. That was a bit of a close one there at the end, but we've won the tournament and we got our prize, which in this case was some candy. So we can now go back and feed our monsters a little bit more. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope that was sort of an interesting display of how sort of the strategy gets more complicated as the monsters evolve, as you gain more access to more attacks and more move slots. Perhaps we'll then take a look at the third stage monsters at some point, but that's for another time.